Welcome back. Hope that you're ready to continue the great day that you're having. We are on page 12 in your Thinking with Math Models packet, and it says problem 2.2. So if you read the little thing at the top, there's nearly 200 million licensed drivers and 140 million registered passenger cars, and many cities have self-serve car washes to help keep their cars clean. So we're going to talk about profit for those. There's two different car washes, Sudzo Wash and Pat's Power Wash. So Sudzo Wash and Wax charges 75 cents a minute to wash a car. So if we were going to write an equation that relates total charge to the amount of time, the charge would be 75 cents times the minutes. You could use the C and the M. You could use the Y and the X. These are all the same. In my opinion, the best is with the words because it makes the most sense. Pat's Power Wash charges $2 a car and 49 cents a minute. So there's like a $2 flat fee for Pat. So the charge is equal to 49 cents per minute, so times the minute, plus the $2. And then there is You Wash It, right here, still on your same page. $10 for each car. So this time it says write an equation for the profit. So the profit, how much they make, would be they charge the people $10 and they estimate it costs them 60 cents a minute to provide soap, water, and vacuums. So you would subtract 60 cents per minute, and that would be how much they make. Alright, explaining what the numbers and variables mean in each equation, I'm just going to kind of go back, and you don't really have to do this because you wrote the words, but essentially in the very first one, this is just meaning that every minute the charge is 75 more cents. And in the next one, there's a $2 flat fee, and every minute 49 more cents is owed. And in the last one, there is a $10 flat fee, and every minute 60 cents is spent, so the profit is what is left over. So what questions can these equations help you answer? For the first two, if you took 10 minutes to wash your car, how much would you owe? For this one, the question could be at what point, how many minutes for the company to lose money. You could say, at what point is the Sudzo Wash and Wax a better deal than the Pat's Power Wash? I mean, there's endless questions you can answer. So this is just sort of like an opening problem. So if you flip your page over, there's some data here. And the first question is, how do you know this is linear? Well, in order for something to be linear, you have to have a slope. Slope is rise over run. So rise is change in y over change in x. So if you look at this being your x and this being your y, if we look at the change in the y, 28 minus 23 is 5. 23 minus 18 is 5. 18 minus 13 is 5. 13 minus 8 is 5. That's very exciting. You might think your slope is 5, but it is change in y over change in x. X is not going up by 1. X is also going up by 5. So we can explain that we know it's linear because as x goes up constantly, y goes up constantly too. What are the slopes and y-intercepts? So the y-intercept is the 0. We would need to go back and find when x is 0. And that should be pretty easy because that's just 5 down, so you would go 5 down. So 8 minus 5 is 3. So that is the b. That's the y-intercept. And the slope is the blue 5 because it's the change in y. It's the rise over the green 5 because that's the change in x. That's the run. So the slope is 5 over 5, which is 1. That's your m. Y-intercept is your b. So what this means, let's write the equation and then let's talk about what this actually means. So y equals mx plus b is your basic linear equation. So y equals 1x plus 3. Instead of x and y, let's put the words in there. X is time in minutes, y is charge in money. So the cost, the charge, equals 1 times the minutes plus 3. So what this means is this is the flat fee. It's like there's a flat fee of $3. And then for every minute that you wash the car, you're charged $1 more. So it's $3 flat fee. And every minute washing car is $1 more. And it does say write an equation using C and T. So you could do the C equals 1t plus 3. Honestly, I still stand by this being the best form, writing the word out. So do what you would like with that. Okay, at the bottom of page 13, you have this lovely graph. This is some different data. And basically, we're going to try to write an equation for this graph. So you want to see where it crosses the grid in a lovely place. Like, see how this is crossing perfectly the grid? So you could actually generate a little table for this. So the x value is the minutes. The y value is the cost. 0, this is your x. These are your y's. So 0 minutes gives $4. That's the very first point. We're going to jump over to 6 minutes, giving $6. And then 12 minutes being $8. 18 minutes being $10. And 24 minutes being $12. Okay, the B is staring us in the face. The y-intercept, the 0, where does it cross the y-axis? Right here. So that's the b. That's the y-intercept. The slope is the change in y over the change in x. So, I'm going to actually color code this. So the change in x is 24 minus 18, which is 6. 18 minus 12, which is 6. You're always going from the biggest, the rightmost side, the bigger numbers, to the smaller numbers. And then the change in y, 12 minus 10 is 2. 10 minus 8 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. So the change in y is 2. And the change in x is 6. That's reducible. So that's 1/3. That's your rise, and that's your run. That means you go over 3, up 1. So if you see this, over 3, up 1. Over 3, up 1. Over 3, up 1. This is 3. Halfway in between is 1. You always need to look at how your graph numbers are going. That's very important. So your equation would be y, so charge equals slope, that's your 1/3, times cost, or time, which is in minutes, plus 4. So this means there's a $4 flat fee, and each minute adds 1/3 of $1. So every 3 minutes, it's $1. So flip your page over. You're now on page 14. And it says below are 2 receipts. It's kind of, here you go. And write an equation. Why is this? Okay, that should be right down there. Perfect. So, you've got the time and the charge. The date is really a non-issue, so we don't really worry about the date. So this time was 10 minutes, and this time was 20 minutes. So if your x is minutes and your y is cost, 10 minutes would be $7, and 20 minutes would be $12. So you're doing the change in y, that's 5, divided by the change in x, that's 10 for your slope. So your slope is 1/2. And then you need to find your b. So basically every time you go down by 10, you're going to go down by 5. So 0 is down by 10. So going down by 5 would give you 2. So that's your b. So cost equals 1/2 times time, which is the minutes, plus this 2 is your b. Okay, so that's really the equation. I really got excited and jumped to the grand finale here. So the two ordered pairs were 10 giving you 7 and 20 giving you 12. Since I screwed this whole thing up, I mean, it's the right answer, but a couple little things. Remember y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1? That's another way to do this. This right here is your y's, and sometimes it's helpful if you just sort of transfer this down here. So 7 minus 12. That would actually be y1 minus y2, and that works as long as you do x1 minus x2. You just need to be consistent. So then you would literally just write these numbers down here, 10 minus 20. So this is another way to find slope. So you'd get negative 5 over negative 10, which is still 1/2. And then if you weren't able to make that table, if you remember y equals mx plus b, we know that m is 1/2. And now you have two ordered pairs. 10, 7 is a smaller number. So you could plug 10 in for x and 7 in for y and solve for b. This is just another way to get the b. So 7 equals 5 plus b. And then when you subtract 5, b would be 2. So again, just another way to get to this beautiful grand finale equation. So we just won't, I mean, these are all answered. Beautiful, okay. Slope of 3 passes through the point 4, 3. So you've got a couple options here. You can make your table where 4 gives you 3 and work backwards to get your 0. Or you can plug your negative 3 in for m and you can plug your 4 in for x and your 3 in for y and solve. So if you're using your table, if you're losing 3 every time, that would mean that 5 gives you 0 because you would lose 3. So going backwards, you'd be gaining 3. So 3 would give you 6, 2 would give you 9, 1 would give you 12, and 0 would give you 15. That's your b. If you found it with this, 3 equals negative 12 plus b, you would add 12, and 15 would be b. So whichever way you get, your equation is y equals negative 3x plus 15. Both of those ways are beautiful ways to find b. Let's go ahead and write the ordered pairs for 5, 6, 9. This is one option, or you can think about the table, 4 giving you 5, 6 giving you 9. If you liked what we just did, writing slope like this, you would do 5 minus 9 over 4 minus 6. So that's negative 4 over negative 2, so your slope is 2. If you like doing it this way, you would do 9 minus 5, which is 4, 6 minus 4, which is 2, and then finding slope is the change in y over the change in x. So the 4 is the y, this 2 is the x, and you still get a slope of 2. And then you need to find your b. So you can either do the whole y equals mx plus b, plug 2 in for m, because that's your slope, pick your favorite point. So 5 would go in for y, and 4 would go in for x. So you would get 5 equals 8 plus b, subtract 8, so negative 3 is b. Option number 1. Option number 2. Your slope is 2. So that would mean 3 would give you 3, because 5 would give you 7. And 2 would give you 2 less, which is 1. and 1 would give you 2 less, which is -1, and 0 would give you 2 less, which is -3. That's another way to find your b. Regardless, in y equals mx plus b, you have y equals 2x plus -3. You could also write that as 2x minus 3. This is a humongous topic. All right, flip it over. The last problem. Suppose you want to write an equation in y equals mx plus b. So how would you do that? So if you had a description of the relationship in words, you would figure out what the slope is, and you can either find that by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or if you have a table, you find the difference in the y and you find the difference in the x, and then you do the difference in the y divided by the difference in the x. If you have the ordered pairs, you can just draw this line and do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. And if you have a graph, you can just find 2 points that cross the grid perfectly, drop your triangle, and do rise over run. Or you could take the 2 points, write ordered pairs for them, and do either this method or this method. So that's how to find slope. And then how to find b. b is the y-intercept. So b is when x is 0, what does y equal? So if you have a table and you have some sort of number, first you find your slope, and then you just take that slope and you keep going back or forward until you get the answer for 0. If you have a graph, you can approximate where it is. It's just not as specific. And if you have an equation, if you're doing this method, and you're looking for b, you pick one of your points to plug in for y and x. You have your slope that you plug in for m, and you solve for b. And then you rewrite your equation in y equals mx plus b, where the m has a number and the b has a number. So, I hope this is totally clear. I hope you're feeling energized with this information, and I hope you are ready to conquer yet another topic and another day of math. This will get you so far in your beautiful math career that you have ahead of you. Many, many doors will be open. So have a wonderful evening.